welcome to Kicking It Local, the podcast all about the football community in South Australia. I'm your host, Johnny Keko, and today is part 2 of my chat with the General Manager of Women's World Cup in Adelaide and also the Legacy Plan as well. And if you haven't listened to part 1 just yet, make sure you do so right now, or here's a quick refresher.
I have a lot of thanks to my grandfather, who was a real inspiration to my whole family. Most of the time it's because he didn't let us sit down long enough to do anything, but as kids, you're not interested in that anyways. He was forever dragging us out to go. We're lucky with Santa Barbara. Not only do you have beaches, but we have really spectacular mountain ranges right behind us. So I grew up cycling and running and hiking all through those canyons as a kid.
How hard is it in your role to, especially with the Tour Down Under, to try and change that perception?
It is a challenge, but when I was really ready to take on and showcase, because again, my job is to set the scene for the event. So it's by designing race courses that are technically, sound, but that also provided opportunity.
Welcome back, Kimberley Conte. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and looking forward to it. Now we know a little bit more of what's going to happen and what to expect in South Australia after the incredible draw on the weekend. And how are you feeling after knowing which teams are going to be coming and playing in South Australia?
It's amazing. We were just all holding our breath. Those top 6 teams were being drawn out, and I was hoping for either the United States or England, and to get England. In fact, actually, there's some Instagram footage of me jumping around the room when it happened, that announcement. It's so exciting to have the Lionesses here, and they've just had such a stellar season, and the squad, the depth of that squad is just amazing, from Steph and Georgia and Fran Kirby and Beth Mead. They just, I could go on and on. The whole squad, they're just so amazing to watch, and to get the chance to see that here. If people haven't already done so, please go into the FIFA Plus website. You can still buy tickets. Individual tickets went on sale this morning, and there are still some tickets for games, so please go out and buy those.
Yes, there is. I got mine. I secured mine. The only one I couldn't get is England and China, because that's going to be probably one of the most exciting games to get at, and everyone's trying to get a ticket to that. So while everyone was doing that, I thought I'm not going to miss out on any other ones. So I got my hands on the Brazil and also this round of 16 and the other two as well. But those two, the round of 16 game and also the Brazil game, is going to be huge here in South Australia. And I've been to a Copa America game a few years back in the US, and the atmosphere over there was incredible. So I'm looking forward to getting a similar atmosphere here with some of those teams as well at Cooper Stadium, which I think is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it will. And I mean, you were here when we did the draw, or we're watching the draw, and we had their part of their local team here, and the reaction from them already was fantastic. I bought tickets straight away to that game, because obviously we don't know who they're going to be playing yet. So they're going to be playing the winner of the Group C playoff, and we know there's Paraguay, Panama, Taiwan, and New Guinea in that mix. So will be exciting to see who takes that win. And I love the fact that we have to wait just a little bit longer to see the result of that, and Brazil has to wait a bit longer. We were fortunate. That was our first country to come and see the venue yesterday. They're absolutely lovely. And if, again, people don't know about the team, all you got to do is look it up on YouTube or anywhere else. Of course, we know Marta scored 175 plus goals during her career. She's an amazing example for women. And their coach, Pia, is another one that, if people don't know about her, come and get tickets to the game. Pia has an amazing history. She was on the national team for Sweden by the time she was 15 and scored over 70 goals for her own national team. Was a top scorer at the Olympics, and to see her now, she was coaching the United States, but now coaches the Brazilian women's team. So to have her here yesterday in the venue was quite an honor. So for people that don't know the process, what ends up happening is that FIFA has sent out the teams to their first match location yesterday. So for us, that was Brazil. And usually the team manager, maybe a logistics person, the media team that they might have one person from that, and of course the coach come to see the facilities. And of course they've all got different things they want to see. You ask the coach, and of course the only thing that matters is the pitch. First, straight away, she wanted to see the pitch and wanted to see what that looked like and check the dimensions and the measurements, as you would expect, and didn't really care about much of anything else. And of course, your logistics person's keyed in on things like change rooms and storage areas, and the media team wants to know where they can film from. Can we broadcast from here? Can we film from here? What's the lighting like? So again, for people that don't know, there are pretty strict protocols in regards to the type of lighting you need for international filming or national filming. We know that from hosting Australia Cup here at the facility. But there's also requirements around pitches and change rooms that FIFA puts in place. And so thankfully, of course, this venue ticks all those boxes really, really nicely, being a new venue and being up to scratch. So we're really looking forward to the rest of the teams coming in later this week. So we hope to host most of them by the end of the week. We know China's coming in on Thursday, and it makes it seem all the more real after the draw on Saturday night.
Yes, it does. And you're talking about the Service FM Stadium is where they're coming to check it all out. But have they gone to all the other venues as well that are on offer, or is it just the Service FM Stadium they go and check out?
They were at Hindmarsh yesterday, and then they came here, and then they were flying out to go to another location. So they've only got a really small window. So unfortunately, they don't get to see everything. But that's probably okay, because we know that some of these facilities that'll be base camps have just received an enormous amount of funding from the government to upgrade those facilities, which of course really important and imperative for the Women's World Cup, that we have pitches and lighting and change rooms that are up to scratch and up to the standard that FIFA requires. But the knock-on effect for that, for all of us, is that for our local clubs and our local players, that provides a legacy and an ongoing facilities that are state-of-the-art that can be used for the next how many years, and hopefully attract more and more players.
Absolutely. And one of your parts of your role is the legacy plan. And what a better way to continue that by getting this extra grants as well. With I think it's about $300,000 has been given to upgrade the change rooms at Martin Sports Complex, which we all know definitely is needed. And also another $1 million as well to be used in regional areas as well for football in general. How great is it to have another extra boost from the government to help with this legacy of what's about to start and kick off here in Adelaide?
Yeah, it's incredible. We're really, really grateful to the Minister, Katrina Hilliard, and obviously to the whole government for recognizing what an important and impactful event this is. And hopefully, all those grants and that money can go towards, like you said, the regions. We have so many strong clubs and players out in the regions like Mount Gambier, through the Riverland, out in Whyalla, Upper Spencer Gulf areas. And there's so many people out there that either play the game or potentially could play the game and be involved. And to be able to have funding to go out and support them and support those clubs that are out there that are already doing so much work is fantastic for the entire state. And in that funding is also quite a bit of talk about women's leadership programs and development, and then also prevention of domestic violence. We've got a real opportunity within our sport, because we have so many players, to touch on that as well and just do training and education. So overall, the package is really unbelievable, and we're really, truly grateful.
It is a great package. And you said Katrina Hildyard is helping with the funding. I was there on Saturday for the live draw at Service FM Stadium. She got up to speak, and normally when you hear people in politics talking and stuff like that, normally you get the real politicians speaking and stuff like that. But with her, you could see the love for it and how excited she feels about this. And it's so good to see that she's jumping on board and getting in as much invested as we are in the game.
Absolutely. Katrine has been just a bastion for not only our sport, but women's sport, and the status of women. She's heavily involved with the Office for Women, and she's been so impactful, not just for us, but for other sport. And we're, again, really grateful to her. And yes, you can. I was thinking that there's very few politicians that get an applause after they speak, but she's one of them that does every single time.
Yep, you can see the smile on her face when she was talking just before we got into the draw. So she was very excited, just like the smile you have right now, knowing what teams are coming to Australia, and also you securing a potential ticket to go see the USA as well in the finals.
Yeah. Well, they better win their group, is all I have to say. But look, what a great thing for Adelaide. I mean, we know that England is just such a powerhouse, and to be able to have them here in Adelaide is amazing. To have China here, China's been in the Women's World Cup 8 times now. They were a runner-up in 1999. They lost to Italy actually in 2019 in the round of 16, but we know they're a super strong squad. Brazil, of course, the culture and the love of the game and the quickness that they bring to the pitch. They're just so much fun to watch. Some other teams at South Korea has had a strong squad that's been coming through, so it'll be really interesting to see them come and play. And then of course Morocco, first World Cup appearance for them, and they're the first Arab nation to qualify for the Women's World Cup. That's
Yep.
pretty exciting, and the story behind having teams like the 5 brand new teams that are qualifying for the first time, that's pretty exciting.
It is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to that game as well. I got tickets to that one, but the other one I got managed to just secure tickets to, almost allocation exhausted in this pre-sale slot at the moment. Is the round of 16 in Cooper Stadium, or Hama Stadium. It's being known for the World Cup, but it's looking forward to that one. I think we both bought the same area, alcohol-free zone, because that's all that was left. That's how quickly they got picked up.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing. We've been debating who actually will be playing in that. My guess is I went for France and Colombia. Others said France and South Korea, but yeah, regardless. Look, again, to have France here playing. So we've got England and potentially France coming here to play in Adelaide, amazing. And if people can't get tickets, or if something is sold out, one thing I just want to mention too is that Event South Australia will be hosting and promoting a fan fest area, which is done at every World Cup, and FIFA, of course, is running that as well. That's going to be at the Festival Plaza this year. So it should be a great location, and they are planning on airing as many of the games as possible there in the Fan Fest. So there'll be a huge hub of activity, and as we find out more information about what will be in there, I'll pass that along. But if you've ever seen a Fan Fest of any of the other World Cups, they are pretty incredible. So we're excited about that. And again, if people want to come and watch matches, that'll be a great spot to do that.
Absolutely, and I'm excited you said that, because that's probably where I have to go and watch the England and China game, because I still haven't got the tickets to that one yet. But I reckon there'll be a lot of English fans and Chinese fans as well, because we know a lot of Chinese students in South Australia, and it's going to be huge, that game. And the excitement around that, I think, is going to be big here in South Australia. That's going to be a good one, and a very good atmosphere in the stadium, which I'm looking forward to. But we could see some really good teams here in that round of 16. We're lucky to get a round of 16, because not even Perth gets one.
Right.
And there's a chance of seeing even Colombia in there as well, which you did mention. And last time I went to a Copa America game in the US, it's the only Copa America game I've been to. It was Colombia versus, I think, Paraguay, and I was accidentally bought tickets in the middle of the Colombian supporter group.
Oh, perfect.
So I think I've got the chance ready to go, and I think I'll be able to jump right in. I did it by accident, and I did not understand a single word they were chanting, but I got in on it back then. And they bring a good atmosphere, and I think that's something we're going to see here at Cooper's Stadium, which is, as most people by now have already seen, it's looking absolutely amazing after the new renovations as well.
It is indeed. And it's so great, again, to have that upgraded, because, of course, that benefits everybody in the South Australian community, not just the Women's World Cup, which is great. And you mentioned Paraguay. They are still on the hunt. So in February, they're going to battle it out with 9 other countries for those last 3 remaining spots. And we have 2 matches here in Adelaide that will have games based on the outcome of those playoffs. So whether it's Chile, Senegal, or Haiti, or Taiwan, Paraguay, Panama, or Papua New Guinea, it'd be exciting to see who gets in. And again, it's the World Cup. You can always make predictions, and we know who the strong teams are, but every so often there's an upset, and it's good to see some of those other teams coming into play.
Definitely is, and we can't wait for this. I could talk about this all day, and I'm absolutely excited after getting my tickets. Now that I got my tickets, I can relax a bit more, and I know that look forward to what's coming. But your role as well now, because everything's secured, what teams are coming to Adelaide, we're just waiting to see what teams are going to be based here in Adelaide. What's on the cards now for your role in particular to get ready for the World Cup now?
Yeah, so this week is just hosting countries, giving them tours of the facility, answering questions. I'm trying to figure out what they need. Each team has been paired up with a TLO, so basically an advisor who helps them. That might be a translator as well, and that just helps them kind of navigate through all the different venues and throughout the country. One of the things that we are starting to work on now here is also things like there's an exclusive and a non-exclusive use period for this venue. So as a training site, 14 days before the first match, that becomes an exclusive use period. So the venue is only being used by the teams that are actually here training. So that's kind of exciting, and we have to do quite a bit of preparation. So that's already begun. Now that we know who may be attending, we'll find out sometime, hopefully in December, which teams actually come. So if people don't know, all of these countries come and visit multiple cities and multiple venues, and then have to try and decide, like yesterday, Brazil was asking exactly how many minutes is it from the Adelaide CBD to this facility? How many minutes exactly is it from this facility to the airport? How many minutes exactly from Melbourne to this, location? So there are obviously, it takes a lot of effort to get a team around. And of course, you don't want to tire your players out and do the best for them. So we're trying to just assist them as much as we can right now until we find out who's landed here. And then it changes again. So then it's a support role for us here. For me, it's working with those teams and helping to support the countries as much as we can from a venue perspective and from our perspective here. One of the other big things that'll start coming into play fairly soon is on the 4th of November, the volunteer portal opens on the FIFA or the FIFA Plus app. So if anyone's interested in getting hands-on experience volunteering with teams or at venues, that's absolutely the place to go to do that. Once they've told us that once that site's up and running, there'll also be the explanations of what the types of roles that they have available. So people can really pick, and that will be open to the football community before it's open to the general public, which is really nice and something we really pushed for from this side, that, we think that football fans and our football community should have first dibs on those positions. Who better to be in a stadium or with the team than someone that loves the game? So that'll be fantastic. We'll put that out as soon as we know. You can look at our website or our socials so people can come and volunteer. There'll be other roles that maybe not so much with the teams and things, but we still desperately need help with in regards to the Fan Fest and other things like that, where you'll have direct contact with a lot of the people coming in from overseas and across Australia. So there's a lot of opportunities. So trying to keep that under wraps as well and moving. And then, of course, trying to get things continuing to roll on with legacy. So we'll roll into a new school year, and we'll have new legacy leagues, both in the South and the Northern areas, which are exciting. Mini World Cups for schools, and then hopefully another women's tournament like we ran this weekend, but we're going to try and expand that and make it a mini World Cup five-a-side tournament. We'll be running leadership courses, and what else are we doing? All kinds of breakfasts and things on the way up. We've got the 100 Days to Go and International Women's Day. So it just kind of ticks along all under that banner of the Women's World Cup.
Sounds very full on for you, Kimberley. It sounds like a lot to do, but a lot of excitement as well. It must be an exciting job to be working in, and the hype around it, especially in the office here at Football South Australia. All football fans that work there, must be a great environment to be a part of.
It is. I was saying to you earlier before we started this conversation that our whole office basically stopped. It was better than the Melbourne Cup. All of us were glued to our screens trying to purchase tickets to try and see what we could get tickets to. And of course, everyone is such a strong supporter of the game and a lover of the game. So that makes that really easy, and it makes it an easy place to work. The staff here are phenomenal, and again, the clubs and the volunteers and the people that make this sport and make this football community are really the reason that you work in it. And I feel it's a real honor to be a part of it, and to be a part of that Women's World Cup coming here to Australia, a once in a lifetime for us. It's really, I'm still pinch myself that it's really coming and it's really happening, and to be a part of that.
Absolutely. And what have you found in this role that is different to all the other jobs you've done, especially in the Women's Tour Down Under, a massive tournament in South Australia? But what's the difference in this one that you've really enjoyed compared to all the other ones you've done? Is there anything that you can pinpoint?
Well, I think Yeah, that's a good question. For starters, it's just so huge. It's FIFA, it's the World Cup, and it's again, we touched on this earlier, just that multicultural environment to see so many different countries coming in, all of them with a common love for the game, and just the joy um, that you feel at a match at a World Cup level. And to see that playing out, that's really special. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen in other sports, of course it does, but it's just magnified, I think, by the presence of the World Cup being here. That's something that is tremendously huge and not to be taken lightly. So again, I think we talked on this last time, to be a part of a sport that's so dedicated to legacy and leaving a legacy for women, but also, for players of any gender to come into the sport, be a part of the sport, and then hopefully continue in the sport, whether they continue as players, officials, coaches, come back to the sport, have their kids play the sport,
Yep.
whatever that might be. It's a very special community and a special environment here.
Leaving a legacy is a great part about this, and the good thing about it as well is that it can lead to future Matildas playing for our country, and they're all the young ones coming through now. And how exciting is it to see the Matildas now, who they're going to be playing, albeit it's going to be a hard group to compete against, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. First timers to the World Cup, Ireland. Great to have them in, and don't underestimate what they can do. Of course, Nigeria. They've had a really strong presence in Africa and in the World Cup in the past. And then, yeah, Canada. Hello. I mean, Olympic champions, and again, a super strong squad. I know during that draw, watching some of the Adelaide United women's players just groan when Canada was drawn into that match group. But you know what? The Matildas can handle it, and we've got a lot of confidence in them. And this tournament is obviously about how they play and how they go with this. But we know, like you talked about, the future. We've got so many young Matildas. A couple of young girls from South Australia just selected to the Young Matildas to represent recently. That's part of the whole point of legacy, is that if you don't offer an opportunity, young girls and women can't be what they can't see. We say that a lot, but it's really, really true. And watching the World Cup here, watching the Matildas play, and I know they are aware of this, watching Adelaide United women's team play, that just is such a boost for young girls, and an incentive to get out there and think, well, if they can do that and I can see them doing that, then maybe that's something that I can do as a young person as well. So the Matildas have a big job in front of them, but we know that they step up every time, and they're a delight to watch play. It's be great to have them back in the country. So we're excited about seeing them and see where they land. But again, watching that talent and part of that legacy plan is really developing that grassroots level, because once we get to that, we know that that's what filters up to the top for those girls that really desire and strive to be the best.
Absolutely, and they want to finish top in that one, because if they finish second, they could be playing against England.
I see, which will be an excellent match. Yeah.
So hopefully they can finish top on that group. It's going to be tough, but it will be exciting. They're behind their home crowd, and also I went to buy tickets for the Melbourne game for the Matildas, which is against I think it was against Canada, and it's almost sold out. So it's going to be hard to so that's going to be a good one. It's going to be hard for Canada to try and compete with that very loud Aussie fan base down there. So I can't wait for the Matildas. Unfortunately, hopefully they can make their way to the grand final, because that's where I bought tickets for. I waited all the way to the grand final, so hopefully they can make it there, because I would love to see the Matildas play in a grand final.
Yeah,
yeah, it would be good. Very excited for it. But before I let you go, I've got to do the kick in the questions. But before I do that, one last thing: what is one thing in the lead up to this World Cup you're looking forward to doing, and that's about to come up? Anything in particular?
I'm looking forward to the schools mini World Cup, because that should be really fun. I'm looking forward to running another women's tournament, five-a-side World Cup, because that was so great to see the atmosphere this weekend, and getting to meet the representatives from these teams. It's funny because they come in and you think you might recognize someone, but they're out of place, and until you go back and Google them after you've left, like what happened yesterday with Brazil, and you think, wow, to have that level of player who's now a coach or now an administrator, again, it just shows that pathway to leadership for women. So looking forward to that a lot this week.
Awesome. That'll be good. The amount of people we're going to be able to bump into here in South Australia is going to be fantastic for a lot of football fans. Yeah, it's going to be cool. And I don't think people, like we mentioned it last time, I don't think people realize how big this is going to be for South Australia. And I got the buzz down there when it was live streamed on the big screen at Service FM on the weekend. That draw was incredible excitement around there, and the buzz was awesome. It's just a tiny taste of what we're going to get, I'm pretty sure. But now let's get to the kicking it questions, which I ask every single guest. The first one is, who would you love to kick it with, or kick a football with on the park? Anyone in the world?
Oh my goodness. Actually, now that I met Pia, probably Pia, because her background is so amazing, and she's just gone right from being this incredible player all the way through to, again, a phenomenal coach. And it was really interesting to sit and chat with her yesterday a little bit and see how driven she is, and driven to get those girls up and moving and doing well. So definitely Pia.
And I love these questions for you because you can probably do these and make it realistic with what's happening in the next year, because of all these people coming around you. But this next one is, who would you love to kick it with on a Saturday night? Two people, someone internationally and someone locally.
Oh my goodness.
So watching football, whatever you prefer to do on a Saturday night, and kick it.
Let's see. Boy, that's a hard one because there's so many people here locally that, although, let's see. In the football space, I don't know. Probably Tracy Jenkins, because I love her style of coaching. She's been such an inspiration to young women. Of course, there's Izzy Hodgson, of course, from Adelaide United. That'd be a great one as well. Internationally, Marta, definitely. Yeah. Again, such a fun person and such an inspiration to sport. I'm really impressed with not just her playing ability, which is phenomenal, but what she gives back to the sport.
There you go. Hopefully you can pull a couple of those off in the next 10 to 12 months, hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Now, well, thank you so much for joining me, Kimberley. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, Kimberley. I've really enjoyed it, and the excitement around the World Cup. I could talk to you for hours and hours about this in the lead up to it, and I'm sure we will talk more in the next 12 months, because it's going to be an exciting time for South Australia and the women's game in general, because it's going to be huge.
Indeed it will. And again, if you haven't bought tickets, they went on sale this morning. So jump on the FIFA Plus website and check it out. That
was the General Manager of Women's World Cup Adelaide and Legacy at Football South Australia, Kimberley Conte. Make sure you subscribe to Kicking It Local wherever you get your podcasts, so you can get a taste of the SA football community. Plus, follow at Kicking It Local SA on Instagram and Twitter so you don't miss any of the action. See you soon!